And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. Really excited today to go to Daelore for the first time live, and also the first time on the channel that we are doing Undertow from Too Many Bones. It is the standalone expansion, emphasis on stand alone. Yeah, so I don't know. It's not exactly clear what can be mixed in with the base game, what can't be. The events are made to be separate. I keep the loot separate. I keep all the baddies separate, even the ones that have overlapping types. That's just how I want to do it. It just seems like it makes the most sense and keeps the most balance that I like in the base game. Undertow is super fun, little swingier than the base game. I do prefer the base game, but I am glad I own Undertow because I love the two Gearlocks in it. I love Duster. I love Stanza. Super fun. And we're going today against Kollossum. Brian Skollock, are you dusting off your Undertow? Yes. So I've actually been playing Undertow for a bit. Did jump into it a couple months ago, but just wanted to work through the four base game Gearlocks. And now we get to hear Otis. Yeah, Too Many Bones first stream. Nice with a bunch of emojis. That's awesome. Hello, Otis. Welcome. Today, a couple of housekeeping. If you're first time joining me, again, first time I am doing a live stream of Too Many Bones, so I expect a couple of newcomers here. Mrs. Playthroughs normally is here to help moderate the chat. She has work obligations as she gets back into a normal routine. She has, other things to do than, sit here and moderate the chat for my live playthroughs. Go figure. So here we are. So I am flying solo today for real, but I will be moderating the chat as I can. There is a 25-second delay, so everything you see happened 25 seconds in the past. That usually works out. I know last week I accidentally hit the button on my mic that turned my audio off. Just alert me to anything that goes wrong, and I'll make sure I address it. I'll look over every now and again. So let's get going. First, I'm going to do a little story time with Greg with Kollossum here. Kollossum is one of the shorter tyrants. Now, the shorter tyrants are good for video because they're short. They don't give you the best opportunity to really flesh out your Gearlocks, right? So there is a drawback. It's, hey, it's a shorter game. It's great. But you don't really get the full experience. I have found I've enjoyed this game more and more the longer the adventures. Another thing about Undertow I find is that the margin for error is very tight. So even with the shorter tyrants, sometimes in the base game, you could still pull off a victory even if one or two battles go wrong. Undertow, not so much. Like to the point that if I fail a battle on day 2 or 3, you might see a reset. I'm just going to have to start over because you really need every progress point you can get to the place where you have both the stats and the skills necessary to beat Kollossum in the final Tyrant battle. So he is a 7-day Tyrant. You need to feed him on day 7. I will be going at him on day 7, not sooner. I promise you that. I'm going to want every training point I can get. You need 5 progress points to get up to the ability to fight Kollossum. And again, there is no margin. I mean, I need to do 6 days, have 6 successes, and get every single point I can do to make this work. I am so sweet says recently discovered the channel, love all the content. Thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words there. So Kollossum, what is his deal? Like the Deepwood, the jungles of southern Daelore remain largely unmapped. The thick canopy and variety of creatures there make for difficult traversal. This means it's an ideal location for nefarious experiments and dark dealings. Kollossum happens to be the result of such experiments. With a second brain attached to his back, it's uncertain who or what is controlling him. Or perhaps the extra gray matter has created a creature with intelligence off the charts. Dun, dun, dun. So he uses all the beast type baddies and all, I think the yellow are the orc type baddies. So I have them all mixed in the assorted stacks of the 1-point baddies, the 20-point baddies, and the 5-point baddies. We are unlikely to see a 20-point baddie, and if we do, based on the encounters here, it will be unlikely to be from these two sets. Will likely be from the scales. Where is he? Oh, these are the 5-point baddies. Here's the 20-point baddies. Yeah, let me take the scales baddie out. Cool. Put him over there in case we need him based on the different encounters. All right, so I am going to shuffle these stacks, shuffle up the 5-pointers. So that is done. We're going to shuffle up the 20-pointers, not that much, just kind of give them a quick once over, and then we'll shuffle up the 1-pointers, and we'll go from there. I'm still getting a little bit better at shuffling up the Too Many Bones chips. They are a certain weight that makes this a little bit harder. than I would normally experience. That goes there. Additionally, we have two other baddie types. We have the Krellin. The Krellin appear on the raft side in some of the encounters there. They are cool. There's only 5 of them. The Krellin can only be played with Undertow, so there's no question about mixing up content with the base game. And then you have the Mechs. The Mechs and the Krellin both have their special rules. Mechs always go on the bottom of the baddie queue. The Krellin always go on top. We'll hopefully get a chance to see one or both of that through this playthrough. And they are both 3-point baddies, which makes a big difference when you're playing with stanza. Otis, I got to get my brain strap for the fight. Kollossum, yeah, no doubt. And Brian Skolick, it's Mech Basin time. Yeah, hopefully. So we have the loot. Some of the loot's very cool. I haven't really seen much of the trove loot in this game, but there are a lot of opportunities to pick up loot along the way, which I appreciate. And I find that if I have a piece of loot, I'm probably using it, because loot can be very important in these playthroughs. That goes there. It goes there. The day counter's out. We also have these 4 chips over here. Those chips are 2-sided. The one side represents wreckage on a boat. The other side represents an obstacle. The obstacles come into play through various encounters. We might see one of those today. And the wreckage is such that there are 4 wreckage chips if you are on the raft, and a 5th wreckage chip would be placed. Well, that is another way for you to lose. So do not let that happen. I have all my lockpick dice. I have the D6 here. We have the various status dice, like the poison and bleed and all that. We hopefully will see the bleed to our favor here today. And then there are 2 other dice. These are loot dice that we will see depending on whether a certain baddie type comes out as we play. So it is a 7-day Tyrant. So in Undertow, instead of doing a Tyrant number of days of the Tyrant -3, because there are only 2 special events to start, you do the number of Tyrant days -2. So I'm doing the solo events and solo encounters, I should say, and I'm going to pull off 5 of these, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's good. And now we have to get the day 1 and day 2 encounters, and I'll roll the D6 to randomize this. Does Krellin mean anything out of this game, or Krellin? No, I mean, Krellin would be useless for the base game. They're only good for the Undertow. So shuffle those up a little bit. Gonna roll a die to make it super random. That's a 6. That's a 6. Man, I just keep rolling 6. It's 4. So that one's in. And then we need to get the day 2 encounter. All right, did that. That's a 5. Not helpful. That's a 1. So we have the day 1, the day 2. I'm going to take the Tyrant encounter. And again, I just roll a die to randomize, as opposed to shuffling them, because it's so small and I don't want to use the encounter cover card. It's just all a giant pain. So we just kind of shuffle it up. It's quicker for me. Duster, what is Duster's deal? Well, Duster has a really nice any die. It's 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. So half the time you're going really quick, usually going first, not always. And then Duster she's a melee ranged baddie. She can start anywhere she wants on the board, which is a huge advantage. And if she gets her innate +1, she actually is untargetable for the first round, which is really sick. We'll see if I roll that many bones. It's a little bit hard to get to. Obviously, getting those 6 bones in a true solo game can be quite the challenge. She starts with 3 health. She starts with 3 dex, 2 attack, and 1 defense. So she can already do a lot of damage right off the bat, which is helpful. Now, she has her buddy, the wolf, Nightshade. Now, Nightshade comes in with 2 health. Nightshade comes on the battle at the beginning of the round that Duster has less than her full health. Or, if Duster starts a battle with less than full health, Nightshade will roll an any die, and then Nightshade would also be in the any meter. So there's a strategy there. I like to have Nightshade come out in the middle of battle. Nightshade always, because Nightshade's any die, half the time it would be first anyway, but half the time it's going to be, has a 3, so it's not going to be first there. I want to guarantee that it's first, and I find Nightshade coming out in the middle to be better, because Nightshade only has 2 health. As you're building Duster, a lot of the skills have to do with making Nightshade better. I have found that, at least with the shorter Tyrants, that is a hard strategy to pull off true solo, and I'd spend my points to increase Duster's stats or increase her own attack ability, and I kind of let Nightshade be what it be. Now, Longer time range, I think there's a whole lot of room to play with this as a strategy and really souping up Nightshade, giving Nightshade more health, giving Nightshade more attack dice. It's just something that I haven't been able to make work against Kollossum often enough to do that here. I will be mostly looking at these other career paths. So, I mean, the definition of the word, or Otis asking at the definition of the word. I'm not sure. Duster David Coleman says, "Best of luck, dust him." I will absolutely try. But yeah, Otis, I'm not sure if Krellin means anything outside of this game. It probably should, right? I'm sure it's something. It means something in some language somewhere. I feel like the odds of that are pretty high. So, what are Duster's careers? Well, she can be an assassin. So, the assassin career path, the assassin profession, is definitely something I'll be leaning into heavy. I find it very, very strong, especially against Kollossum. So Duster's Dagger is a die that can give some bleed. Throwing Knives can make you do damage, allow you to do damage to a non-target, non-adjacent baddie, and then Vibroblade. Vibroblade just gives you more ability to do a lot of damage in one attack. Then I will be doing Gadgeteer. Gadgeteer, I like the bottled smoke. You can put an untargetable die on you, which is really helpful. Really, probably won't be messing too much else with the rest of this in the Gadgeteer profession. We already talked about the the wolf sitter. The wolf sitter profession, again, probably not going much into that, so I'm really sticking with that assassin profession. And then we have our consumables over here. Both Scrag Roots and Blade Dip can be helpful. Against the baddies you're facing today, I find Blade Dip a lot better. The consumables are unique. Most Gearlocks, when you get a consumable, you use it when you want. When you get a consumable for Duster, you immediately roll it and put it in your locked dice. So, and that's there. Obviously, if you get knocked out, you lose it, so don't get knocked out, and then you use it when you want it. I'm obviously going to, if I get it, I'm going to want to save it for Kollossum, and there's some cool mechanics with that. Rocket Magnet, Krellin means ugly stupid. Oh, nice. Thanks, Rocket. Cool. It means ugly stupid in North UK. Good to know. See, come to solo playthroughs. The things you learn. It's great. So finally, did I talk? Oh, and then a survivalist is the purple profession up here. I didn't talk about that. So Flint and Tinder is interesting. When you're doing a recovery phase, you can choose to either heal Duster up to full health or Nightshade up to full health. The Flint and Tinder die allows you to, during the recovery phase, roll it, and you can give the number you roll. So I rolled a 1 in this instance. I could give that 1 health to either Duster or Nightshade. I might pick this die up. It can be helpful to just get, like, again, if Nightshade only has 2 health, if Nightshade dies during battle, it goes back to the battle mat with 1 health. I might get Flint and Tinder just to always get Nightshade back to 2, but we'll see. I don't often want to spend that skill point there. It might depend on what loot I get. If I have other ways to get Duster back to full health so I can heal up Nightshade. So we'll see. Feign Death can also be really interesting. Feign Death, if you were to die, instead of dying, you get the untargetable die and you go back to 2 health. So it can be a really nice profession there. The Survivalist and the assassin profession meet up at the Vibroblade locale on number 7 on your little handy dandy mouse pad. So I think I have yammered enough. I don't see any questions in the chat, so let's get this party started. Just to orient to how I have this set up here, so we have the baddies. I already have Kollossum with his 8 health here with his Tyrant die, loot, and then we have the Gearlock Adventuring Reference Guide, and then underneath that I just have the baddie skills and the counter terms. If you're playing Undertow, make sure you do have the Undertow version of that, because there are a lot of skills that are new. Some I love, some I could do without, but you know, all in all, they make for an interesting variant to the game. All right. The only one thing I'll say is there is the biggest rules difference I know. I don't think there are any others beyond the components themselves. In the fatigue rounds, you can move diagonally, even as a Gearlock. I don't totally understand the reason for that change. I don't think it was necessary, but it's a thing. It's there. You know, use it if you need to. I can really think it came up for me like once where I was like, I'm going to move diagonally now because it's going to help. Usually it doesn't really matter. Anyway, at least in my limited experience. Let's go. Special encounter. Day 1, goating the wrong way. It appears all sorts of creatures made their way in and out of the sewers, beyond the sunlight, mechs flying overhead, and guards on the hill. A timid geophage is making its way northeast along a fairly well-concealed path. Giving the guards and drone the slip and diverting north even for an afternoon seems like a bad idea when the end destination lies in the opposite direction. However, who knows what kind of treasures one may find in any of the geophages' stomachs. Alright, so we have two options. We can follow that goat, or we could, goats are silly, stay focused. They neither are a battle. If we follow that goat, we skip the recovering phase, but then after building your battle queue for the next battle, we have to add a 1-point baddie, and we have surprise, discard after use, or we get a loot, and it says making your way out of the sewer. You were able to dodge the mech sentries and even swipe a misplaced backpack as you make your way to the river. I will be doing the latter because goats are silly. It's a clear fact, and we'll be getting one loot. So narratively, what's going on here? So the meta narrative of Too Many Bones is Duster was a tyrant in the base game, and then her and Boomer are sisters, and then they ended up being arrested by the Council of Obendar, I think is the name of the city, and then they escaped the prison there, and now they're off gallivanting around Daelore, still going after the tyrants because that is what a Gearloc does. But there are some enemies in the council in Obendar, including Nobulus, and it's all sorts of nuts. It's a crazy, crazy story, and one day I need to read that book a little bit more carefully. All right, nothing in the chat, so we're good. So I'm going to get one loot. So it's one loot to every Gearloc. Obviously, it's only me, so I get a loot. Nightshade counts as part of my party, but Nightshade does not count as a Gearloc. That's very significant, especially against Kollossum in a solo game, because there are some effects that will not apply, because, again, Nightshade, not a Gearloc. Cool. Kelp Powder. Remove one effect die from yourself or an adjacent unit. Probably not going to be that helpful, but it could be. It has two uses, Kelp Powder. There's not a lot of effect dice coming on us with the baddies that are in this game. I have 2 training points. I'm going to actually try to train my attack. I find having 3 attack dice with Duster on the second day hugely helpful, so we'll see if I can succeed at that training attempt. I did not roll a bone, so here we go, and I have 1 extra attack, and I'm going to use that other skill to give myself, or that other training point to give myself 1 extra dex. And I'm going to have the progress point to say that we are 1 of the 5 that we need before we can go take on this ugly thing with a brain on its back, because clearly that is what we need to do. All right, day 2. Day counter moves up. Settling into our adventure, now that Obendar is safely in the past, thoughts turn to the task of building a raft to navigate the Sabran. Chopping down trees is tiring, splinter-getting work, but the sounds of loud quarreling nearby reveal a simpler option. A group of unsuspecting barbarians with piles of stolen resources strewn about their camp. Brick, lumber, grain, ore, and wool. So much wool! At the moment, the entire group is puzzling over how to build a catapult from 2 wood and 3 brick. Taking on the whole group is doable, but perhaps a little tough. If we make some subtle noises from the tree line, maybe we can lure, I think there's a typo there, maybe we can try luring a few of them away and search for a robber who might steal from their stash at random. Alright, so we have 2 options. The distraction worked. Now this is nobody's largest army, so it would be battle queue. It would be baddie points -1, so it would be 1 baddie, Gearlocs have surprise, or we can go against 2. The longest road always leads to victory. Attack them all, and we get an extra loot. What the heck? Let's go for that. Now, the symbols on the card, they're both battles. The symbol will either show a wave, so we'd have to go to the raft side of the battle mat, or it shows like a forest scene. So we are in a forest, so we are going to do on this side of the battle mat. These spots on the side, if you're not familiar with Undertow, are for mech type baddies only. You cannot move into them voluntarily. If you end up there, you have to move out. Spend 1 point of dex to move out the first thing you do on your next turn. Right? I do want the extra loot because I don't really love the kelp powder, and we'll see. And again, if I lose this, we're just going to reset day 1 and day 2 and try again. Because that's just what's going to happen. All right, we're going to take 2 baddies up the top. The battle cube again is 2. It's the day number times the number of Gearlocs. There's only 1 Gearloc in this party. So we're going to get this and this. What is our first baddie? It is a goblin dabbler. All right, he's just dabbling in being a gobbler. He's not sure if he wants to be a goblin. He's just going to dabble, and we're going to put him right there. He has 3 health. His any die is only a 2, so maybe we can knock him out first thing. And then after that, we have the Goblin Devastator. So Goblin Devastator has 3 health. It's going to go in the mischief. I'm sorry, it's going to go in the melee baddie space on lane 2. It has detonate 2, which means that if it starts a turn with less than full health, it is going to do its movement phase and then blow up. It's going to destroy itself, and it will do 2 damage to all adjacent units, baddies or Gearlocks or Nightshade. Right now, so don't try not to let it be at less than full health. However, it also is careless, so it's going to roll 1 attack die and 1 defense die. Its backup plan, if it ever rolls a bones, it loses 1 health. That is what it is, and then you know it's going to blow up its next turn. A lot of Undertow I find, especially with Kollossum, and we'll see that in the Tyrant battle, assuming we get there, is trying to position the baddies that they're doing a lot of damage to each other. Detonate's a big part of that. Blind Strike is an ability that's a big part of that, and we'll kind of see all that as we go. Otis, goats make me uncomfortable, but I like them. Catan reference there. Yes, for sure. On the card flavor text. Yes, for sure. Cool. So the any die for the Goblin Devastator is going to be a 4, so that's going to be before the Goblin Dabbler. We're going to need our round die, and I'm going to roll Duster's die. It's a 6, showing off right off the get-go, so we have all the even numbers, 2, 4, and 6, and I can put her anywhere I want on the mat. I want to try to kill the Goblin Dabbler, so I'm going to stand right next to the Goblin Dabbler. But wait, that's not a Gearlock position. I know, I can go anywhere I want. It's super cool. And then Nightshade's going to be sitting in the woods, making sure I don't get in any trouble. But if I get hurt, you best believe Nightshade is going to pop in at a moment's notice. So we're going to go my first turn. I have a dex of 4. I'm going to take my 3 attack dice and my 1 defend die. Is the defend die going to be any use if I don't kill the Goblin Dabbler? Nope. It won't, because the Goblin Dabbler has Mischief 1, but hopefully we can pull this off. So I'm rolling my 4 dice. Give me 3 attack, please. Oh, that wasn't great. So I did 2 damage. I did not get a shield, but at least I'm only getting attacked by 1 instead of 2, because the Goblin Devastator won't have time to get over to me. But the Goblin Dabbler lives, and I have my 2 bones, which I can hopefully use when Nightshade gets on the board for some pretty cool effects. So I am done. The Goblin Devastator is going to go. Goblin Devastator is going to move 2 to try to get to me. Goblin Devastator is then going to roll its 1 attack. Oh wait, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not attacking because it doesn't have a target. It's going to roll its 1 defend die. It does not roll the bones. It has 1 defense. And then finally we go to the Goblin Dabbler. If I had rolled a shield, the Goblin Dabbler would have taken it off me anyway, so it's good that I didn't. And now he's just going to roll his 1 attack die. Don't roll the 2. Oh, I rolled a 2. Like clockwork, kids. Like clockwork. Alright, so I am down to 1 health. We're going to go to round 2. Nightshade is like, oh no, Duster has 1 health. Nightshade is entering the battle, has to go into a Gearlock starting position, and it is a melee Gearlock, so it has to go there. If I, well, depending on who I want to attack, I'll probably have it attack. I got some options here. I'm trying to be smart. I mean, I can have him move up, just kill off the Dabbler, right? The Goblin Devastator does attack the weakest Gearlock, so I'm obviously a little worried about that. If I had Nightshade attack the Devastator, though, I can potentially have it injure itself, and then it would just blow up on its turn. So if it injures itself, I could potentially move like up here, and then the Devastator would move here. Well, actually, it wouldn't move if Nightshade's adjacent to it. But if it doesn't move, then it just blows up Nightshade and blows up the Goblin Dabbler, which honestly, it's a win. I mean, sorry, Nightshade, I love you, but for real, like let's get this done. So I think that's the smartest play here, because if it fails to injure the Goblin Devastator, then I can just wipe out the Goblin Dabbler, and then I know that the Goblin Devastator is going to attack Nightshade. So at least I know that I'm not going to be defeated as Duster. So Nightshade is on the battle mat. We're going to try to injure the Devastator. I'm going to sacrifice my wolf a little bit. You know, it's fine. So rolling. Oh, it did it again. I rolled a bones and 1 damage. So the shield comes off the Devastator. And that's it. There is no backup plan for Nightshade. So I'm rolling really good, guys. That's fine. Duster needs to kill the Goblin Dabbler. So we're rolling 3 dice, and we're rolling this 1 defense die. I did not get any shield, but I have another bones. That could work. I actually wouldn't mind getting a 4th bones and maybe getting a fortunate discovery out of this. And then we have defeated the Goblin Dabbler. That will go over here, and now we will take that die out of the innie meter, and now the Goblin Devastator is going to go. Not going to move. It's going to attack Nightshade. It's rolling 2 dice. Again, 1 defense, 1 attack. It rolls a bones. So it does roll 2. So it's going to defeat Nightshade. Nightshade is going to come on here with 1 health, but it also is going to self-detonate because it rolled a bones on its defense die, so now that is careless. Cool. So Nightshade's die is now exhausted because Nightshade was eliminated from the battle mat. We're going to go to round 3. We're going to Duster's turn. I have 2 options. I could move and roll 3 attack dice and try to win, or I could just let this sucker just defeat itself and try to get a bones here. Can I move 3 and roll a shield? No, I cannot move 3 and roll the defense die. So I think I come here. Oh, I need to do 2 damage though. I mean, it's risky if I roll 2 bones, but I kind of want the fortunate discovery. So let's be risky. I'm going to move 1. I'm rolling 3 attack dice. I just need to do 2 damage. If I get 2 damage and a bones, that'd be an ideal roll. Yes, 3 damage and a bone. So I'm going to apply the bones. I'm going to do my backup plan. I can do this in any order after I roll. I'm going to get my consumable. It's Fortunate Discovery. That is my backup plan with 4 bones. I'm going to roll that immediately. I rolled a 1 blade dip. That goes in my locked area. A 2 would have been better, but we'll live with a 1. And then that 3 damage is enough to kill the Devastator before it moves and blows itself up. All right. That is good. I'm going to take my die off, that out, that comes out, and we go to our rewards. So what do I get? I get a loot. It's a Gearlock's Guide to Advanced Tactics. During a training attempt, you may choose to train any skill on your Gearlock mat, ignoring prerequisites, as something I might use for a Vibro Blade, or automatically succeed an attack or defense attempt. I will probably want to get to 4 attack dice, so this could definitely come in handy. Glad we got that loot. I have 2 training points to spend. Well, 1, I'm definitely going to give myself an additional health. I'm up to 2 health now. And what else do I want to train? Well, let's take some bottled smoke and start getting some of these skill dice in here. I can make myself untargetable for a turn. That could be very, very helppful. Great. We go to the recovery phase. Now, one thing I forgot in the recovery phase, which I often do on day 1, I could have scouted. Sorry about that. It is what it is. Let's assume I scouted the goblin, whatever, Dabbler, and I didn't want to move him. Great. Now we go to recovery phase. I can heal myself, or I can heal Nightshade. I will heal myself and get up to 4 health. That will work. No comments, so we go to day 3. We get our second progress point. Day 3, this comes off, this moves over, and now I'm going to roll a d6. There's only 6 cards left here, and we'll see what the next encounter is going to be. I rolled a 3. Let's see what's going on. Story time with Greg. Betting the farm. Over the bridge, he sailed. The poor farmer never stood a chance. The goblins watched him struggle to stay afloat as he drifted down the river. Now they cackle as they lead his geophage toward its fate as an inevitable goblin feast. Engaging these goblins seems ill-advised, but maybe the farmer will be fine. He'll probably reach the shore at the next bend. If I could rescue his goat and potentially his livelihood, a nice reward might even be in order. Then again, maybe the farmer is doomed without my help, and simply saving his life would be enough to earn me some warm lodging tonight. Though reaching him quickly will likely mean facing some Krellin. Yikes! So I have 2 options here. I could try to save the goat. I would do baddie points. I would use only the goblins to do the build of baddie queue. So we have to search the baddie section to do that. Place a timid geophage 1 point in a Gearlock starting position and treat it as an ally. Geophage says no. Any take a turn for the geophage at the end of each round. Gearlock has surprise. Encounter success is achieved if the geophage survives. I don't know about that. It's going to be 2 loot. I don't know if I want more loot. I really want that training point. So we're going to save the farmer. So baddie points, including Krellin. So if I had a 6 baddie points on my queue, I would put 2 Krellin in it. Krellin always go on top. But since it's day 3, the baddie points, it's not 2 Krellin, it's only going to be the 1. So if it says including, if it says add, you add it. It's just like the base game. If it says including, you just include it. So we are at day 3. The baddie cube is 3, so baddie points, including Krellin. We're just going to have to face 1 measly Krellin to save the farmer. No goblins are actually, we show up with our wolf and they just get scared and run away, clearly. So I'm going to take my first Krellin. Now, it does have an ocean. This goes here, or a wave picture. So we go here. We're going to get the Krellin. The Krellin's going to go into play. This is the entirety of our baddie queue. It is a Krellin Largemouth. Krellin Largemouth comes into play with 2 health. It has the submerge ability. So what the submerge ability does is it makes the Krellin movement very unpredictable. So I'm going to roll the die to see what its starting position is, right? So it doesn't like have a lane. These aren't lane numbers as you roll a die, so it's going to go into 3. Normally how the Krellin work is they're going to move, they're going to try to attack an adjacent Gearloc or anybody in the party, so they would attack Nightshade as well. If there is not anything there to attack, they will move to the next numerical position. If there's still nothing to attack, then they're going to roll attack dice. If they do any damage, you put a wreckage chip on the ship, and that's how your raft gets more and more damaged as you go. However, I'm probably just going to kill this on the very first turn. This is... I wrote this today. There are more scenario, like events, encounters that I feel like are too easy in Undertow, even True Solo, and there are a number of encounters that I feel are just really too hard True Solo. So I think the balancing, I mean, there's a swinginess to Too Many Bones in general, right? It's a dice game, it's fine. I think it's even more swingy in Undertow, which is kind of it can be a problem since there's like so little margin for error. So if you get a couple that are just too hard, like you just really have no chance, especially with these shorter tyrants. So it is like a thing. This is going to be kind of stupid easy. So we're going to put anywhere on the mat that we want to go. We'll go there. I'll roll my any die. Hopefully I get higher than a 4. I do. I rolled a 6 again because I'm on fire. We get a 4 for the Krellin Largemouth, like I said. It's going to be after me. So my first turn, we're rolling 3 attack dice and a defend die. And we just need to do 2 damage because this sucker only has 2 health. Oh, there we go. 4 damage and a bones. That will do. Bye-bye, Krellin Largemouth. Super exciting. So we win. Look at us. I get 2 more training points. What do I want to spend it on? I'm going to get the... Well, it's going to be day 3 for progress point. I think I want another dex, because right now, again, it's that George A rule. You want to have dex equal to the number of attack dice plus number of defense dice plus 1. So I was obviously a little short on that, because I only had a 4, so I'm at 5 dex now. And with my last thing, I'll take Dustin's Dagger. Might be a little bit premature, but I love that bleed ability, and it could be really, really strong. So we're going to do that. This comes out because the battle is over. And we're right on target. If we can get to 12 training points by day 7, that really puts us in a really, really nice spot. Yeah, I didn't know Dustin was the same one. I didn't know Dustin was the same one as the Tyrant. Yeah, it's nuts. That Krellin better not insult you. He has a large mouth, so maybe, or was it a barge mouth? Is it a barge mouth? Reading is hard. It is a large mouth. All right, we're good. I actually read that correctly this time. This goes here. We go to day 4. So day 4 can be really hard because, again, that's a lot of 1-point baddies. So it depends. You really want, like, this would be an ideal baddie queue for day 4 because it's like, oh, so 1 Krellin, 1 Goblin. That's great. Or 1-point baddie. That's fine. This can be a little tougher. So we are going to roll the die. There's only 5 cards remaining here. Flying through this deck. What do we get? Number 2. All right. The story time with Greg. The best defense is a good offense. Entering the settlement, I can feel eyes on me immediately. This hidden cave is full of paranoid Gearlocks, weary looking and seemingly afraid to talk. They're building machinery, and while no sentries watch, they appear to be working against their will. Seeing Gearlocks in this region is bizarre, and they seem well aware they don't belong. Are they in hiding? Held under threat? Maybe the makeshift shanty at the back of the cave holds answers. Armaments are everywhere inside, perhaps from Nobulus's machines. Even a working prototype stands awaiting for instruction. As the mechs crash through the walls with me in their sights, I attach one of the more advanced pieces to my arm. Yikes. Alright, so it seems like a weapon of sorts. The prototype arm successfully fuses with your arm temporarily. So it'll be baddie points, including mechs. So we are going to be on a land battle. So let me get off here. Oh, during the recovery phase, I'm just going to recover Nightshade up to full health because obviously Duster didn't take a scratch on her last turn. This comes out, these come out, and this is going to flip to the other side. I don't know why I keep skipping the recovery phase. It's a bad habit. Don't do it. All right. So baddie points including mechs. So it'd be basically one mech and one 1-point baddie. Mechs go on the bottom of the baddie queue, even though they're 3-pointers, and the 1-point baddie is a 1-pointer, obviously. Your attack and defense stat are linked and can be used for either stat. So I could actually have 4 attack dice if I wanted, or 4 defense dice if I wanted. That's a thing. Otherwise, seems like a controller of sorts. Wait, how do I pause? I need to invert the y-axis in the settings. Battle queue is baddie points. Add an abomination prototype to the bottom of the baddie queue. At the end of each round, you may take a turn for the abomination prototype. So, again, this is like the ambiguities. The rules of ambiguities and Too Many Bones is just a thing, and you just kind of deal with it at some point. So what you would be doing is, it's a baddie queue would be 4 1-point baddies, plus I'd add this abomination. Now, the abomination would take a turn for itself, I think. And then at the end of the round, I would take a turn for it. So I could use it to attack a lot of 1-pointers. It is a loot. I might consider doing it. The problem is 4 1-point baddies and having this prototype, it's just that could be a lot to deal with. So I think because of the day number, it's going to make sense to do option 1. Right, and that gives me 4 attack dice. It's super, super strong. We'll see a mech. It'll be nice, and we just won't have to worry about it. So baddie points, including the mech, is going to be the choice I'm making. I get the 2 training points anyway. Now, if the bottom gave me a training point instead of a loot, I might be inclined to do that because training points are so huge. But we're going to stick with this. So battle queue is going to be 1 1-point baddie and 1 mech. I'm going to put them there. The 1-point baddie is... Oh no! I'm glad I'm not doing option 1. Or option 2. So we have the Chimp Acrobat. Blind Strike 1. So Blind Strike 1, it's going to attack the strongest unit adjacent to it. Again, strongest unit, doesn't matter. Gearlock, Nightshade, baddie, it's gonna do 1 damage to it, right? The number of damage it does with a blind strike is equal to the number of the blind strike. So the Kollossum is blind strike 3. He would be doing 3 damage to the strongest unit adjacent to it. Then it also has dodge. So what dodge means is it can't be attacked by defense dice or by attack dice. It can't be attacked. Well, nothing can be attacked by defense dice. Oh, I guess they can be in this scenario, right? But normally cannot be attacked by defense dice. But it won't take any damage. So you can still roll an attack dice against it. It just won't do any damage to it. So I am glad I have that bleed, which should be able to kill this in 2 rounds. But it is going to mean I'm going to be adjacent to it, and I'm going to be worried about that blind strike ability for sure. So we're going to put this in lane 1. In the melee spot for the baddies, and it has an ini of a 4. Round 1's going to go there, and now we get our mech. The mech's coming in. What is it? It is the Spiderbot 4.0. It has equipment and bleed, and there's a bunch of like other interesting information on here. So we'll get to that as we start setting this up. So it has 2 health. Where are we going to put it? Well, just like the Krellin, we roll a die. It goes to number 1. And it comes on. So it has a defense stat. However, its defense stat is different than the normal baddie. So this baddie has like a black shield in a yellow box. It's like white. It's just yellow. This one just has a yellow shield with a number. So what that means is when it enters the met, you just put defense on it equal to the shield value. Yoink. Now, a lot of the mechs have self-repair. What they do is they can repair their shield that they have. This bot does not, but it has bleed. It also has equipment. So what's equipment? We're going to go to our encounter terms, and it says when this unit enters the battle map, we're going to roll a d6. I rolled a 4. What does that mean? So we're increasing its attack stat by 1. So I'm going to put an attack die on there to remind me of that. So it's rolling 2 dice when it attacks instead of 1. and it's also going to make me bleed if it attacks me. So avoiding that attack is going to be important, and that's it. So those are the only abilities you have to deal with this mech. The mech abilities are wild, wild, wild. I can go anywhere I want to go. Oh, the kelp header could be huge, actually. Even if I get attacked by that, I can make it go away. We're gonna put I'm sorry, any die for the mech is a 2. I need to roll my any die. It's a 3. Ooh, so I'm after the acrobat. Interesting. I think I start down here. I'm gonna try to get my bottled smoke going. Try to get this thing to bleed. And that puts me pretty far away from the spider bot. So that's fine. We're going to go with the chimp acrobat. He moves 1, 2. Can't attack me. Again, blind strike 1 triggers at the beginning of its turn, but it doesn't do anything because there's no one there to attack. The bleed die, it's an instant thing, so I can choose not to use it, but this isn't something I can put on my active stats and whatever. Like I have to literally put it on there. I have to, if I use it, again, so what I'm trying to say, so bottle smoke, I roll it, then I could put the result there, and then when I want to use it, we're good. The Dustin's dagger die, when I roll it, I either use it or I put it back in its thing. I can't like have it stored. So if I roll, when I'm trying to use it, if I roll the 1 bones on here, that's not bad. And there's 2 values on here, right? So there's 2 things on here. 1, am I going to make the baddie bleed or not? And then 2, am I doing any damage while I do it? Now, this is not an attack die. So the dodge ability does not mean that I can't damage it with this die. So if I'm lucky, I'll roll a 1 or a 2, but that's only 1/3 of the die, and then it will just die in its next turn without worrying with a blind strike at all. So this could be a good opportunity to take out this chimp acrobat. So I'm going to move 1 with my first dex. I have 4 more decks. I'm going to roll Dustin's Dagger, Bottled Smoke. I'm going to roll a Shield, and I'm going to roll an attack die. I can't do damage with it, but it gives me a chance to maybe get a bones. So I'm rolling these 4 dice. What do we get? Oh, I bonesed out with the Bottled Smoke, so I'm not going to take that result. We're putting this back in. I did roll a bleed, so I'm going to exhaust that die and put a bleed 1 on the chimp. I get 1 defense, and I did roll a bones with that attack die after all. So that will work, I think. We're now going to go and take a turn for the spider bot. 1, 2, and that is the end of round 1. We go to round 2. Nightshade does not come into play because I'm still at full health. We're going to do the chimp acrobat's turn. Well, he takes a damage right off the bat because he bleeds. And I can do this in either order. Start of the turn effects, you have the flexibility. I can do I want to do the blind strike first or the bleed first? Obviously, I'll choose the bleed first. Blind strike now triggers. I lose a damage. Or I lose a health because of the blind strike. Actually, it's not true damage, so I can actually just take my shield out now. The chimp is going to, this should go back here. The chimp is attacking me with 1 die. It's a bone, so no damage to me yet. And then it's my turn. Well, I know the chimp's going to die, right? It's just going to bleed out on its next turn, and we won't have to worry about that anymore. Do I want to take a double attack from Spider Bot? Probably not. I wish I had my bottled smoke so I can be untargetable. It doesn't have self-repair, so that's nice, right? So I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. I'm going to roll the bottled smoke and a defense die with my remaining 2 decks. Oh, right, and on this I could actually roll 4 attack dice, which is pretty sick. So yeah, I think I'll do that next turn. Let me set this up a little bit better. Oh, I could have no, I can't. I was wondering if I can get the spider bot to be adjacent to the chimp so I can actually do that 1 damage before it bleeds out, but it won't actually work the way the board set up. So I'm rolling these 2 dice, bottled smoke, I can put on my active slots, and I got another bones. All right, the spider bot's gonna go 1, 2, that's its turn. We go to round 3. Still at full health, so Nightshade's like, we're good. The chimp's gonna go, is gonna bleed out. So that is the end of that chimp. And then my turn, I'm going to move one. I can roll 4 more dice. I'm going to roll 4 attack dice because I can, because of the rules of this turn, the rules of the encounter. I rolled 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. So this shield comes off, and there's remaining 2 is enough to wipe out the spider bot before it ever had a chance to attack. So that's done. Done. First mech is defeated. This will come out. Put this over here, and that will go out too. So that's it. Crushing it. All right, so we did number 1. We don't get the loot because we did option 1. We do get another training point, so that gets us up to 4. That's a 2. So double that. There we go. And now I get 2 training points. I'm going to take another health. So it gets me up to 5 there. And I think it makes a little bit of sense. Yeah, if I do throwing knives, vibroblade, I can use the Gearlock tactics to give me 4 attack dice. I got some options here. I'm going to take, we'll put Dustin's dagger back. I never had to use the bottled smoke, so that's going to come back here. And then I'm going to take the throwing knives and put them here. Now again, the bottled smoke is an active die. So everything in your active die comes out. Everything in your locked stays. I did not use either of those, so that can go over there. And now we go to the end of the round. So everyone's at full health, so I'm at full health. Nightshade's at full health, so I am going to actually do the scouting thing for once. So I roll the die. It's a 2, so I can scout the next 1-point baddie. Oh no, it is a goblin broadcaster. It has signal 2. No thank you. We're going to cycle him to the bottom. Or her. You know, don't want to be too gendered here. We're good. We go to day 5, so might get a 5-point baddie. We'll see how this goes. There's only 4 left here. Who's Duster? Duster's which one? Oh, George A. If you were untargetable, the baddie wouldn't have moved. True. Thought he. Right. Oh yeah. So I didn't trigger it, which is good. George A. So it's fine. Don't worry about it, George. I appreciate all your help, man. Your comments are always huge. Sean Parks, advanced tactics item of ferocity. Oh, that's an idea. I didn't even think about that. That could work. I probably won't go that way because I don't really I'm just not gonna have enough time to train it. It's such a short. So Sean Parks basically said that I could advance, like try to do some of the stuff to advance Nightshade, and I just don't think I'm going to lean into that build enough, and we're already at day 5, so I literally have 2 days to make Nightshade better. And Nightshade, especially with Blind Strike 3 from Kollossum, Nightshade might not be that long for this world. So I'm not inclined to do it, but I do like that thought, and I think that's an interesting strategy to play with off camera. So I'm rolling a die for the encounters. Tyrant encounter, here we go. Now look, I'm going to mess up a rule on this one. This encounter drives me bananas. It really does. So we'll see. Hopefully we get this right. The Tyrant encounter. Tether Maul. Thunk. A dart hits a Gearlock arm with excruciating force, transmitter, and metallic rope attached. At the other end of the tether, the largest ape any Gearlock has ever seen towers above the jungle. A massive jar is attached to its back, containing what appears to be a second brain. Before having a chance to think, other instincts take over, a craving for banananas. A desire to climb, swing, protect the jungle, squash the intruder, smash, hit, get, swing, eat. Kollossum King, Kollossum Best. Love it. Get out of my head! The battle queue is baddie points. We are remaining on this side of the battle mat. We are going to get a 5-point baddie. What is it? It is a Chimp Sentinel. Oh, it has dodge. Oh, you... Dodge and 1 mind. The 1 mind's not going to affect us too much. 1 mind basically says that every other beast type baddie that's on the mat will roll 1 die against its target or targets if it has any that are legitimate. But it's a pretty nuts skill. But it's not going to matter here because obviously there's only 1 baddie to worry about. And we put this here. But the dodge ability, I'm going to have the same issue. I'm going to need to make the sucker bleed. It doesn't have blind strike though, so that's a thing. It has 2 attack dice and 1 defense die. But what's going to make this hard is we have these instructions. So each round, all Gearlocks are forced to perform the required command during their turn. Now that only applies to Gearlocks, not Nightshade. A Gearlock may refuse the command at the cost of 2 decks. If they do not refuse and cannot carry out the command, the Gearlock takes 2 true damage. Now, if I want to get Nightshade on the board, I might actually let that happen at some point because, like, hey, why the heck not? So I can start anywhere I want. The first round, I need to move 1 position, right? You know what? I'm going to put this up here. Hopefully that will make it harder for me to forget that I have rules to follow. All right, this is, oh, he goes first. He has a 6. Well, I could roll a 6 again, although I've rolled my fair share of 6s already. So he has an any die of a 6 with his 4 health. I roll my any die. Where are you, any die? I got a 3. Well, that's good as time as any to roll a 3. So I'm gonna put myself down in this corner. Nobody puts Duster in the corner. Yes, I do. What are you gonna do about it? All right. The baddie's gonna go. It's gonna move. That was a 1, 2. Sure, why not? Duster's gonna go. Now, what's my command? I have to move 1 position, at least 1, right? Or can I move more than 1? This is rules. I think I have to move at least 1. I think I can move more than 1. So, George, if that's wrong, let me know. What is going on? Skip or just skip for us? Yeah, there are not enough days for us to pay off for itself. Yeah, yeah. He even rolled every battle. So yeah, they're George and Sean are talking about whether just using tactics to get one of these advanced skills to make Nightshade stronger is even worth it. George A, banana nanas, I love it. There's a lot of nana in going on with Otis. So yeah, I think I move at least 1, which is fine. I'm definitely moving. So I don't mind taking an attack here. I could make myself untargetable. Yeah, I'm gonna move 2. Well, I guess I'm getting attacked anyway. I'll just move the 1. Why the heck not? And hopefully this bottle smoke will work out. So I want to attack this now. I have to attack it next unit, but I probably should give myself 2 chances with this this Duster's Dagger, right? So I have 4 more decks. I'm gonna roll Duster's Dagger, Bottled Smoke. Oh wait, the champ, he would have rolled his. He's going to attack me, but he would roll his defense die. He rolls a bone, so no defense. So it's even more reason I should attack this turn. I have 2 more dice I can pick. I'm going to pick 1 defend die in case the bottle smoke doesn't work out, and just 1 attack die. Again, I can't do damage to it anyway. It's right. Take back what I just said. Bleed does true damage, so it doesn't really matter, and this won't take any damage from attack dice, so it's not really, because of dodge. Oh, the joys of dodge. So I'm rolling these 4 dice. So I'm using all my decks. Oh, I had the throwing knives. But that's not. Oh, I would do damage with the throwing knives. Oh, interesting. I'll save those in my back pocket. That's fine. Again, attack dice are not skill dice. So bottle smoke did work. Bleed did not do any damage, but I will put a bleed effect on the chimp acrobat. I have 1 shield. And I have 1 attack die, which is useless because of dodge. I am going to use the bottled smoke this turn, so I'm going to put an untargetable effect on me, and that's going to last to the beginning of my next turn. We now go to round 2. So what are the rules for round 2? I have to attack the strongest adjacent unit. Clearly won't be a problem. It is the chimp's turn. He takes 1 damage because of bleed. And then he's going to roll his defense die. It is another bones. He doesn't want to be defended. My turn. I am going to have to attack the strongest adjacent unit. This isn't really going to do much for me, but we're going to do it anyway. So I'm going to attack, or I could just spend 2 decks to ignore it. Fine. I'm just going to spend 2 decks to ignore it. So I'm going to move 1. That's 3 decks total. And then I wanted to get non-adjacent so I could use throwing knives. We already have this. I can't roll anything else because I can't roll attack dice because I don't have a target that's valid for it. So I'm just going to roll these throwing knives, try to get a couple more damage this way. I did 2 damage with the throwing knives, down to 1 health there. So there wasn't a shield, so that really helped make that a lot easier. Now we go to round 3. Bleed's gonna trigger. The chimp is dead. 5-point baddie out. Done. So we did the Tyrant encounter. We succeeded. We got our 5th day, which is nice. We get a loot. What is it? It is a descaler. Grant any Gearlock 2 buff HP. Otherwise, during a lockpick attempt, use this to open a lock of 4 or less without the use of action dice. I will definitely take that 2 buff HP. Thank you very much. And we get 2 more training points. So we got our progress point already. 2 more training points. I'm going to give myself another dex. And the buff HP is super nice. Let me give myself the Vibroblade and we'll just finish out that profession. Or I could get the extra attack die. So many choices. I'll use this to get the extra attack die. I'm not sure if you can roll first and then decide, but I'm basically at a place where I don't need to ignore any prereqs based on how I've built this sucker. So we're just giving myself a 4th attack die because I think that could be really helpful, especially if there's a 5-point baddie in the house. So this goes up to that. So we have 2, 2, 3, that. So we have done a total of 10 training points already. Hopefully we get 2 more in this last day, and then we'll be able to go forward in round 7. Great. Out. Over here. Duster, making it happen. And yeah, we still have that. Might not want to use that. Might want to save that for the last round. We go to day 6. We only have 3 cards left. Rolling a d6. 4. Story time with Greg. What do we got? Yeah, it's at least one boss move is cool. True solo. Multiplayer just means your party members, yes, get killed easier. Cool. Brian and George talking in the chat. Love to see it. All right, let's go. Encounter. Dance like no one is paddling. Paddle 1 was lost this morning. I smashed a Krellin right in the face, launching one of its bulging eyeballs onto the nearby shore. Before it could grow its eye back, it snapped my paddle in half with only its teeth and disappeared back underwater. Paddle 2 was lost a bit less heroically. While my theater troop may be impressed upon my return to Obendar, the pirouettes, spins, tosses, and paddle jabs I was practicing won't impress Nobulus or any other tyrant. Now I'm drifting with whirlpools, rapids, and rocks up ahead. I need to find a paddle-worthy replacement, and fast. So, dismantle a portion of the raft to use as a paddle. Persistent. I add 2 wreckage tips to my raft at the beginning of my next battle with Krellin in the battle queue, which would be this one. Oh, not bad. I could do a battle or not. If I don't do a battle, I just get a loot and 2 training points. And I know there's not going to be any more battles. Or I could battle because why not? I kind of want to battle, right? I mean, yeah, it's fun. I would get 2 loot, which could prove handy. I do have the Descaler. What the heck? This is going well. Let's push it. Let's push it. So otherwise, again, I just get a loot and 2 training points. So I could guarantee that, but I am a glutton, and this is fun. So we're going to go back to the raft. This is the bad choice. This is a decidedly bad choice. If you're playing optimal strategy, don't do this at home. All right, we are doing this. We have the baddie points, including Krellin. So it's going to be 2 Krellin and nothing else. So at least we can start to see some of these mechanics. What I do for the love of the game. Here we go. So we have 1, 5 health. This has Treasure, Flee. It is a Krellin Skittish, so I might be using my Kelp Powder, but that's fine. So Treasure and Flee is interesting. It has 1 attack die, so it actually will be doing damage. But because of Flee, at the end of round 2 and 5, one of the things I don't love, I wish it was like at the end of the 2nd round on the mat, because if this comes out of a baddie queue, and it is like literally like round 5, you have 1 round to kill it, and it has 5 health. It's not happening. So that could be a little bit rough. But although with my 4 attack dice, I actually have a chance at this. It has an innie of a 2. It has no defense either, which is nice. So I do have a chance to do it. Now, if the Krellin dies, what happens is we put a loot die on the spot where it dies, and at the cost of 1 dex, I can pick up that loot die, and some of these results are really nice. You can get insta health, you can do a bunch of things. There's a map which gives you another special encounter. None of this is going to be that helpful for me, so I might just let this sucker leave, because what happens with the Flee is at the end of round 2 and 5, it just goes away and it goes to the defeated baddie stack and it's out. Like you don't worry about it. You don't replace it. It's just totally done. But because of the flea, if it does leave that way, it takes one of your loot with it, and this loot is super expendable to me. So I really wouldn't mind it. The only thing that loot was really doing was protecting me from bleed, and obviously that never became a thing. So I'm rolling this die. It's going to go on position 3. We're going to have the other Krellin is poisoned. Well, kelp powder might be useful that way. This comes in. It has 4 health. We're going to roll this die. Where are we putting this? It goes into 5. So they are super adjacent to each other. Who do I want to attack? And, I mean, neither are that scary. Especially since I have 4 attack dice. I don't want to use the Discaler. See what happens with Nightshade. I will attack. Remember, if I'm untargetable, I just risk the rage, the wreckage chips. So that's like a thing I want to be a little bit conscious of. Neither of them have any defense dice. The problem is they're going to start moving to the adjacent side. So if I don't kill one this turn, it's going to be a little tough. But if I make one bleed, it can make it a lot easier. So I'm going to roll. I just want to take this attack too, because then I get Nightshade would come with the battle. Oh, I need to roll my any die, don't I? So I'm definitely going first either way, so it doesn't really matter. But the any die for the Krellin Skittish is a 2. The any die for the Krellin, what does that say? Water Wraith? Jeez. Just one ugly creature too, man. If I was in a boat and I saw that sucker, I'm not trying to kill it. I'm running. I assure you of that. Let me roll that any die. I'm a 3. It doesn't matter. I'm still first. Great. So I don't want this thing to move. It's going to be too hard to hunt it down. So I will stay right there, and I'm going to attack the skitfish. Why not? Then they're both attacking me. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm going to roll 1 defense die, 4 attack dice, and the bleed. I also have the throwing knives, so that one, we're good. So I'm going to roll these 6 dice. I'm attacking the Krellin Skittish, because I can take 2 attacks pretty easily and not worry about it. And with the poison, I can get rid of the poison with the kelp powder before the kelp powder is stolen, which is super good. So rolling. I rolled 2 bones, 3 bones. Yikes. I get a bleed die on the Skittish. I did not do any damage with that die. I'm just totally messing around this game right now. 2 damage, so he's down to 3 health. So yeah, the throwing knives will be able to take care of him pretty easily. And that's exhausted. And I think we're good. Those 3 bones are pretty nuts. So we're going the Krellin Water Wraith. He's putting a poison 1 die on me. And then he's attacking me with 1 die. 2 damage. Oh, this could get ugly. If I roll a 1 again, if I roll a 2 again, I actually would die because of the poison. That's going to, the bleed's going to take care of that dude. He's going to roll a die. Do not roll a 2. It's a bones. That's better. And now we go to round 2. I am injured. Nightshade is entering the battle again. Oh, that's super nice. So Nightshade is going to come in at the top of the enemy meter. It has to go into a Gearlock melee position. I want to... This has to be after I roll. Don't want Nightshade to be attacked. I'm trying to think how to make sure I get this thing done. Ideally, I could move here and then attack this and then throw the knives there, but then the well, it doesn't have to be my target, right? I'm looking at the backup plan. Stab a baddie that's adjacent to both Duster and Nightshade for 2 damage. So I could have just Duster. Well, actually, let me have Nightshade kill that sucker. only 2 health left, and then I can spend the dex to get the loot. I think that makes the most sense. So Nightshade's going to move 2 with attacking with 2 dice, like it always does. Give me 2 damage, please. Oh, man, I am rolling great. 1 damage. So that's going to die at the beginning of his turn because of bleed. My turn, I take a damage because of the poison. I'm going to use the kelp powder. Oh, and it just goes away anyway, so the kelp powder is useless. 2 uses. It has to be used on my turn, so I think my turn will start before I can actually do anything about that. I'm going to let the... I'm going to let him move over there. I just don't feel like dealing with him right now. I want to make sure I survive, so I'm going to move back here with my 1 dex. I have 4 dex left. I'm going to use the throwing knives against him. I'm going to roll 1 defense, and I will roll the bottled smoke just for kicks. I might get a bones out of it, which I would keep. Bottled smoke triggers. Throwing knives missed. Do I want the fortunate discovery? You know what? If I try to get to 6 bones, that could be really nice for the next round. And I have a shield of 2. All right. We go to the Water Wraith's turn. The Water Wraith has nothing to attack, so it's going to move to 6. And then what it's going to do is attack the boat. So it rolls 1 die. It does a damage. We're going to put a wreckage chip here. Now, if both wreckage chips are full, your boat's about to sink, but you can't hit another one. So that's a thing that can happen. After it goes to 6, it would go back to 1. So we're extending this a little bit because I'm trying to like show some more mechanics and stuff like that, but that's fine. And then we go to the other Krellin. The bleed triggers. This Krellin's dead. So before the end of round 2, it died, and we're going to get a loot die right there. So that will go there. This will go out of the game. All right, that die goes here. We go to round 3. Nightshade. Nightshade's not going to do much. I don't want to get attacked though, so it's going to move back and just chill. We're going to go to my turn. I'm going to go here, spend a dex to pick this up, so I immediately roll it. What happens? I get a trove loot, a little bit late in the game for that. But we'll see if we can start unlocking that real quick. I mean, it's a 1-3-5. It's not a... I think that actually is impossible. Is it? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. It's going to take me 2 rounds for that. So that's not going to stay in my collection for very long. So that was an unfortunate roll. Definitely would have preferred some other things. And now I will not do anything else. I'm just going to chill there. Yeah, not even rolling any dice. Yeah, I can't even roll the defense dice. Well, I don't need the defense. I'm going to roll the defense die. Maybe get a bones. Nope, 1 shield. Great. We're going to go to the Krellin's turn. No one to attack. He's coming here. He rolls a die. He does damage, so we're going to put a wreckage chip up here. Now, it costs 2 dex for a Gearlock to get onto that wreckage chip, but that's totally fine. That will work just as well. So we go to round 4. Nightshade's going to move 2, attack 2. It does 1 damage. Man, I am just 1 damage and a bonesing with Nightshade like crazy. My turn. I spend 2 dex to get on this wreckage chip. I have 4 dex left. I'm going to roll 3 attack dice. And no, I can roll 4 attack dice. I forgot I upgraded that to 4. I did 3 damage, which is enough. If I did not have enough, I could spend a backup plan to do a backstab since we both were adjacent to that Krellin, and we'd be able to do 2 damage that way as long as both Nightshade and I were adjacent, and we could kill it that way, but we're totally fine. Definitely did not defeat that in the most efficient way, but I had more fun that way, so it was good. This is going to come back here. This goes down here. This comes out. Done. We're going to, in the recovery phase, heal me up to full health for sure. So I'll just go ahead and do that right now. A little bit out of order. That gets me up to 5. Wreckage chips can come off. This comes out. And we are definitely going to be on a land battle in the Tyrant thing. So we're going to flip this over to the land side. Nightshade's still at full health. There's only 2. The throwing knives are going to come here. And I get 2 loot this way. So... 1 loot, I get the Knackler Nest. Heal yourself for 2 points. Cannot be used on a turn in which a defense dice are rolled. It's a really good thing to have. I'm going to get another one. Harpoon Pistol, choose a non-Tyrant baddie on the battle mat and place in a position adjacent to you. If the baddie is a Krellin, it is instantly defeated. I'm going to get rid of the Trove Loot. I'm not going to have time to unlock it, which is totally cool. And now I have 2 training points to use. We get 1 more progress point. It gets up to 6. We have to attack the Tyrant on the next day. I'm going to take, man, I have so many. Between the Descaler and the Knackler Nest, taking health is probably not necessary. I will take the Vibroblade. And a Dex, I think. 7 Dex is nice. Bottle Smoke, Dagger, in case things go really bad. 4 attack dice, I mean, I could roll... Theory, with the way with Kollossum, you have limited opportunities to attack him, as we'll see. So having 7 Dex for when I could like move, roll 4 attack dice, Dustin's Dagger, and a Vibroblade, that's a really strong turn. I think that makes sense. I would normally take another health, but again, between the Descaler and the Knackler Nest, I have so much health. And the Knackler Nest has 3 uses. Now, I can't use defense dice when I do that, but that's not terrible. Somebody's got to tell me thematically why that is. I mean, I'm sure there's like a clever reason behind it, just as most of the stuff Chip Theory Games does. What do we got? So... Smoked Krellin Eyeballs, a Gearloc Delicacy, nice. You can use Kelp Powder before you take the 1 damage. Oh, interesting. Good to know. Generally, you can use loot that are during your turn, right at the start of your turn, before activating Poison Bleed. Thank you, George. George coming through again. Consumable. I could have taken the consumable. The other consumable is kind of useless, and I already have. Like, I just don't find it. What the other consumable does is the Scrag Root. You roll it right away, and it prevents effect dice being placed on you. There's not a lot of baddies doing effect dice. So, and I wanted to save up for backstab in case I rolled really, really bad. So that's a good question by Brian, though. I can activate the backup plan before defeating the enemy. Right. Yeah, that's cool. Innate +1 to consumable or innate +1. Oh, okay. I don't think I had enough. Did I have 2 bones there? I don't think I had enough bones, to be honest with you. Because I was up to 4. I would have loved an A +1, but I don't think I rolled 2 more bones that last turn. I think I rolled like a bunch of damage, and I had like no other dice to roll. So the attack dice, again, there's only 1 bones, but that could have been really nice to get to an A +1 for sure. For sure. I could have let him live a little bit longer, but at this point, I didn't want Nightshade to start getting damage. And what did that Krellin do? He would have attacked both of us if we both were adjacent. So like that would have been, unfortunate. We both were adjacent, so figured it better, safer to let him die. I'm just not going to have him targetable at the beginning of my next round, which I really won't need. I did. All right, Sean says I rolled 2 bones. I'm taking Sean at his word. I'll watch it back. Someone can tell me if I did it. Great. I did roll 2 bones. I forgot. Awesome. I appreciate it. So I had the 2 bones. I did my backup plan, got an A +1, and yeah, great. That will really help. That makes it even more of a no-brainer not to take the additional health. But speaking of it, we gotta do it. Delayed the inevitable long enough. We go to day 7. It is time, kids. It is time. What do we got? The matter over minds. So we're back on this side of the mat. The battle queue is baddie points, but party of 1 ignores this. We add a 1-point baddie. So a number of 1-point baddies equal to the party size, and then we put Kollossum on top. So I'm going to give Kollossum the number 1 lane. Kollossum's going to go right there. This 1-point baddie. It's just one of the Goblin Devastators, so he's going to go in lane 2, also in a melee position, and he will not be very long for this world, I don't think. So that dude goes there. Yeah, that's not going to be an issue for us. All right, so Gearlocks. So we place Kollossum on the top of the battle queue. Gearlocks may choose when to enter the battle. Now, when there's a solo game, this doesn't really apply. We have to enter the battle at the beginning of the game. So it's like a non-issue for us. Whenever placing units on the battle mat, first place Gearlocks, then baddies. Do not place any more baddies from battle queue if non-tyrant baddies on mat are equal to or exceed the number of Gearlocks. So again, the most other baddies we'll have on the mat is only 1, and that's hugely important because Kollossum's going to keep adding, he'll keep adding baddies to the battle queue, and he has some abilities that this makes this important. Well, first, he can move diagonally. Of course, most of the Tyrants can. Blind Strike 3, so he does 3 damage to an adjacent baddie. The strongest adjacent unit, usually going to be a baddie, which helps us. He's also the Jungle King, which means that we cannot do damage to him unless it is the only baddie on the mat. And then it has recover 1, so it's going to recover 1 damage, 1 health every round. You roll 2 bones. Nice. Now this video will ever be pointed out to me as concrete proof that Duster isn't weak. Irrefutable evidence. Wait, George, you're on Duster's weak? Look, I'll tell you what. When I started playing Undertow, I was like, Duster's great, and Stanza's like, ah. And now I'm like, well, Stanza's bananas. Dude, I love that Gearlock. It's so strong, and I do find myself struggling with Duster a little bit more. Um, it's just tough. And I stopped. I got better with Duster when I was like, you know what? I'm trying to do all this garbage with Nightshade, and I'm just like, I just can't. Like, there's not enough days to do it with the earlier Tyrants. But that's funny. I'd love to talk more about that in the comments for sure. So we talked about the Tyrant skills. Who has Tyrant die on half of this die, or is it? Yep, half of this die, we have synapse. So again, we have a giant gorilla with a brain on its back. So naturally, we have a picture of a brain. The weakest Gearlock must move adjacent to closest fellow Gearlock if possible, then attack it, rolling all attack dice. Well, there is no other Gearlock on the mat, and Duster loves her pet, so she's not attacking Nightshade. No way, no how. It's not happening. So we also have challenge. If the battle queue contains fewer than 3 units, add 1 beast type baddie until the battle queue contains 3. So keeping Nightshade alive is going to be important for the reason that we could get into a cycle where we have a lot of situations where we're going to need to kill the other baddie in the mat and then be able to attack Kollossum. So it's definitely something to keep in mind as this progresses. So put the Tyrant die there. We're going to have round 1. We're going to have the Kollossum's innie is 6+, which just means that it's starting at the top no matter what. It doesn't matter what I roll, it's going first. So the baddie there is 4. Hopefully I do not roll one of my 2 3s, because that would be very bad timing for that. Where's my innie die? Don't roll a 3. Oh, I rolled a 3, because of course I did. Actually, it's not going to matter, because this dude's going to be dead in a second anyway. So it really doesn't matter what I roll. And then any additional 1-point baddies are going to come in at the bottom. So don't have to worry about that too much. I get to put myself wherever. I'm going to get rid of this Descaler to get myself 2 buff HP right off the bat. Oh, and I'm untargetable as this sucker starts. So that's interesting. I don't want to start next to Kollossum though, because even though I'm untargetable, the Blind Strike 3 could still punch me in the face. Duster is stronger in True Solo. Yeah, I could see that. So George is saying that Duster's stronger in 2 solo. There's a few things on her toolkit that are a bit lamer in 2 players, and almost a worthless backup plan. Yeah, I can see that. So I don't know if George. I didn't talk about the backup plan too much. So Duster's backup plan, the ones I use a lot. Pack mentality is interesting. It can get if Nightshade's in danger, you can spend 1 to move it over to you. If Nightshade's on the battle mat, or if you're in danger, you could spend 1 bones to move yourself over to Nightshade, which can be really huge. So you can get in for an attack, spend the 1 and get over to Nightshade, and prevent things like blind strike. So there's a nice little synergy there. Backstab. It was what I was going to use last turn. 2 bones. If you're both adjacent to the same baddie, you can spend 2 bones to do 2 damage. The next one, Cry Wolf, you can give yourself 2 true damage and become untargetable. Really haven't found a way that works for me. Fortunate Discovery, obviously, I used, and then we did the innate +1 because thanks to the chat assist, which I really appreciate. So I don't know where I want to start. I'll start here, because that would give me an opportunity to move over and maybe get a giant attack on this sucker right off the bat. The thing I found with Kollossum is either I one-shot him or it's like kind of a big struggle. So we do have a wee bit of a chance to one-shot him at this point. So I am untargetable, thanks to an innate +1. Kollossum's going to go. Blind Strike 3 is going to wipe out this sucker. So if you get into this scenario more and more, there does become this cycle where, using that Blind Strike 3 to your advantage becomes a big part of finding a way to have success if the battle does get drawn out. So now he's the only one on the mat, which means that I can absolutely attack him. He's going to roll his Tyrant die and his defense die. So he rolls a bone to the defense die. So I keep rolling bones for defense dies, which can be helpful, but he also rolls the challenge. We're going to take 3 1-point baddies, and now we have ourselves a baddie queue. So we need to be careful. And hopefully this one-shotting thing will actually work to my advantage. I'm no longer untargetable. I'm going to move 1 Actually, let me move here in case Nightshade comes out in the battle. Matt, ending my turn here is a little dangerous because I might be taking 3 damage. Remember, I have this buff HP, and you know the blind strike 3. If I roll a defense die, whatever, there could be other things that happen. I'm going to roll 3 attack dice.
Why don't you roll more?
Well, I'll get to that. I'm going to exhaust the blade dip, and if I roll 3 attack dice and I do not roll any poison or any bones, I get to put a 3 poison on Kollossum, which is really, really sick. If I roll any bones, though, it's negated. So the way that the blade dip works, because there's also the blade dip too, you can choose whether you want to try to add poison, but again, the effects of the blade dip is negated if you roll any bones. And there becomes, the amount of the poison is related to the amount of attack dice that you roll. So I could try to play a little more conservatively and just roll 2 defense dice, but I don't think that's going to make enough sense. I think we just go for it. We try to get a poison 3. If I don't roll any bones here, poison 3 plus this, plus the bleed that I'm going to try to put on them, plus the vibroblade,
That's a really sick.
it's a lot of really sick things happening. I can roll 1 more dice, whatever. I'll roll the shield. All right, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of goodness there. Part of me is like, do I just roll the 4th die and hope I don't roll any bones? But I think I love everything that's going on here enough. So here we go. What do he says here? True Gearlock to the battle queue. Who said that? That's right. Hey, he needs backup plan if you keep rolling well. I wonder if Greg has a name for this funny voice that he does. Yeah, you guys can name it. Go nuts. So I'm rolling these 6 dice and potentially one-shot this sucker. Bam! Nice. So what do we get? I did not roll any bones, so we do 5 damage. Down to 3. I get a poison 3, so yeah, this game is over. Although maybe I'll clear the Baddies cube because it makes George happy. We got a bleed effect, which he's going to die anyway, so I'm not going to use that die because why would I? But the vibroblade, I'm not going to use that because we don't even need that. And then we have, wait, can he not take any damage at all? He can only be targeted, right? So he can't. So he's still going to take the damage from the poison. He just can't be targeted. Oh, he's going to recover 1. But oh, I can apply the poison before he recovers. Yeah, we're all good. And I can apply the poison even before he does the blind strike. So all of this is sick. I get 1 backup. I get 1 bones, and that's all really good stuff. And for George, we're going to clear the battle cube because that's what real Gearlocks do. So we go to round 2. All right, we're going to add a 1-point baddie to our little queue here, our little battlement here, and we only add 1. So there's 3 there, but we only add as per the number of Gearlock. So we're going to get a Goblin Mutant. It's going to go into lane 2. It is a melee baddie. Well, lane 2 melee position is taken. Lane 1's taken, so we're going to put it in lane 3. He will go there. He's got an any die of a 3. We're going to do the Kollossum's turn. So all 3 things are triggered at once. The poison, the blind strike, and the recover. We're doing the poison first. 3 damage. Kollossum is out. So if you want to play the way the rules say you can play, this could be the end of the game. But no, we're gonna make George happy, and we're gonna do this the hard way. So that guy's out. My turn. I'm going to move 1. I'm attacking with 4 attack dice. And the vibroblade and Dustin's dagger. I don't know. Whatever. We'll attack with everything. Attacking. So 1 bones. Do I want it? Maybe not. I have 5 damage from that. Don't need to bleed. Don't need to vibroblade. This dude is out. Done. Done. Out. We go to round 3. We have to add another baddie. Now Nightshade is still chilling on the sides like, what's happening? Oh, glad I saved those dice because now we have the Chimp Acrobat. He comes in with 2 health. He's going to go in the melee position in lane 1. That's full. He goes in the melee position in lane 2. It goes here. Alright, my turn. We're going to roll this 1 shield. Thing. Bottled smoke, and 2 attack dice, even though they're useless. I actually have 1 more die. I roll 3 attack dice. Sure. What do we roll? So, I got the bleed. I miss with the vibroblade. I can do the smoke thing. So we're going to put the bleed die on this guy. So he's bleeding 1. Where is it? Done. I did not damage it with anything else. So I'm exhausting Dustin's dagger. These don't help. I will keep the vibroblade. I don't really want that bones too much, but I do have 1 shield. We go to the Chimp Acrobat's turn. He is going to take 1 damage because of the bleed. He's going to blind strike, takes my shield out, and then he's attacking me with 1 die. Can we get Nightshade on the battle mat? After all, he does 2 damage to me. I could have, oh, actually I have buff HP. Never mind. He doesn't. He takes away my buff HP. Done. So we go to round 4. We don't add another baddie because we're still in the rules of this scenario. We only add the number of Gearlocks. My turn. I'm just going to re-roll a shield. Done. 1 shield. Bleed's going to trigger. The chimp is out. And then we go to round 5. Nightshade is still really bored. Wants something to do. Sorry, dude. And what do we got here? We have the chimp half-wit comes in with 3 health. It does not have dodge, but it does have 1 mind and blind strike 1. It is a melee baddie. We're going to put it in lane 2. My turn, rolling this, and I don't know. This should be enough. Yoink. Oh, 2 damage plus vibroblade. That's 3 damage, so we are going to use the vibroblade. It's 2 more bones, and that is going to be enough to kill that dude. So, George, I'm a real Gearlock, at least for today. We pulled it off. That was cool. What's going on? Who needs a backup plan? Is he a mech? Poison is true damage. You can keep him, be cruel and keep him alive for 1 more round. I could have. What's the most damage you ever dealt in a round? Oh, I have no idea. Ryan, I did 8 damage with the 5 attack dice. Oh, that's sick. Boomer can easily do 12, 14 plus damage for sure. Yeah, Boomer is really nuts. One of the things about the vibroblade, so one of the things with Duster that you can do is if you go into the D cells, and then you can get like a counter of D cells in your attack, in your active area, they can add shock to a 5-point or less baddie. I don't find it all that helpful. I mean, if you're really juiced up by that point, you're probably, if you attack it, you're probably killing that baddie anyway for anything that would apply with the D cells. I think it would be most helpful. There is like a lashback ability. So if you had the lashback, it's the infusion bracers. No, I'm sorry, the infusion bracers and the D cells, that could be huge because then you get attacked, you do 2 damage back and shock it, and like that could really be a nice synergy. But yeah, that was easier than it than it should have been. I don't know. It's that day 2, day 3. If you get past day 2, day 3, I found that the rest is smooth sailing, and then you just, if you have 1 big roll against Kollossum, you're in good shape. But that day 3, what was the one? It was kind of like stupid. It was just like that 1 Krellin, which we did in 1 roll, and then it's like, all right, cool, we're pretty much off to the races at that point. But yeah, Duster, I think George is right. I have played with Duster in a 2-player game before, and Duster is far stronger in a 1-player game. I am a big fan of starting Duster with full health, and what I find that does is it allows you to bring in. I find Nightshade a lot more effective when it comes into the middle of a battle, as opposed to starting on the battle mat, especially if you just get unlucky and roll a 3, but you're going to do that half the time, so it's really not that unlucky. Boomer can one-shot many tyrants for sure. Otis's head exploded, which is fine. Hopefully it wasn't from Boomer. Little friendly fire. Gilly too. Yeah, Gilly. I'm excited. Sean says Gilly can one-shot a bunch of tyrants. I'm really looking forward to playing with Gilly. I'm gonna get Gilly and Tink and oh man, there's a couple others I'm getting in the Hoppelmach's Victorian Kickstarter. The only things I haven't really purchased yet or don't have coming on the way, I didn't. Spice and Dice really, it's on my radar. Just other things I wanted to get first, and then I didn't get the Lab Brats either. For me, Gillian Nugget, right? Stanza Have a Death Metal Song of Terror. Oh yeah, Stanza. Stanza's really good. I'll be doing Stanza against What's the octopus against Barnacle? In a couple weeks, I'll be doing that. I'm going to film that. I'll get that on the channel, and then I will be doing a two-player Gearlock. I've had a patron challenge. I'm going to be doing Stanza and Duster against one of the longer Tyrants from the Undertow series. So I did want to do each of them individually before I did a joint, but we are going to go two-handed. We'll see how that works for me, and kind of just take a little bit of a plunge into that side of things. Restock tomorrow. Lab rats are awesome. Cool. Cool. Now, problem is, did I get Dart? Yeah, Dart was one I picked up. Yeah, I picked them all up except for Lab rats. I'm pretty sure it was like there were four I think I bought, and then I bought the extra chips for like Tink. It was like $10 for a pack, so like whatever. So yeah, I think it was Dart, Gilly, Tink, and then there's one I'm forgetting, who looked pretty cool. But and then I picked up Age of Tyranny too, and I picked up 40 Days of Daelore because I need more events for the base game. That I'm really sick of those starting three events. It's like,
I wonder what I'm gonna get. Oh, that same thing I always get.
come on, man. That is one thing that I do appreciate about Undertow is the variety in the first 4 days. Sometimes the variety can be really punishing, especially against the shorter tyrants. But it's nice to have a little bit of a different story every time you go in. So yeah, we're looking forward to picking up those. So that is that. I am excited. Oh, there's a big. Anyone know any insight into this big announcement coming up? Right, it looks like Too Many Bones art. So I'm kind of curious what they're doing, like where they're gonna go with this. Gasket. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. Age of Tyranny is lots. Nice. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's nuts, man. It's nuts. How much content they've really sunk into this game so quickly. Kind of curious to see where they go with it, and also curious to see what they do with Cloudspire as well. It's lots of fun. Nice, nice. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I get into like these campaigns where it's like you defeat one tyrant, then you get like so. Even here, it's like Undertow adds like that tyrant system where I can get a another reward if I wanted to take on another tyrant. I find like Aeon's End too. I'm like, I killed one, we're good, and then I'd rather just start from zero again. That's just kind of my personal preference, but maybe with the right friend or two, we can start exploring that a little bit more. But really, it is cool when you can get all your skills out and your stats are all like really sick. So, we'll see if how much I explore that in the future. Three many bones, yeah. It's appropriate. It's like get to one of the eight many bones. like my basement cannot become a shrine to chip theory. It just can't. I have too many other things like that I need to play and learn and whatever. Cloudspire will be on the channel. Not sure when. I went through the process of learning that solo last week. Um, I'm glad I did. It might have been the least fun. It's worth it. I'm gonna couch this and it's worth it, but it might have been the least fun I've had learning a game in a long time. Yeah. It it for me the rules reference when I finally sat like I was like 6 games in, I'm like it just wasn't clicking, and I finally just read the rules reference cover to cover. The rules reference is great. And I know it's like do not read this all at once. It's like too much information. No, that was everything for me. I wish that was the rule book because if I started there, read that, I think I would have been in a much better spot to learn that game. The Scars and Age of Tyranny are a fantastic challenge for experienced players. Sorry, Brian said the Scars and Age of Tyranny are a fantastic challenge for experienced players. First day of my new mouth. Sorry about that. So cool. Looking forward to getting all of that. So Hopamaka is what's supposed to come out in February, March, I think. But you know, the right now with shipping issues, we might not see that until next summer. But that's fine. That's totally fine. I got plenty of things to do between now and then. Keep me busy. So, plus, Sarah likes to see me once in a while. So, I know bad taste on her part, but it is nice to spend time with her on occasion. Greg, first edition Cloudspire had a proper rule book. Okay, interesting. Because I heard the second edition was better, but maybe you're saying I just found the the rule book. Second edition split it between the tutorial guide and the reference guide. Oh, yeah, they did a bad job with that in my mind. Otis, bye. Have a great week. You too, bud. Um, that tutorial guide, which they called the rule book, was I mean, they just should have made it a walkthrough. I wish they went like the whole Maze Knight way of like walkthrough rulebook, because once you do the walkthrough, you just never look at that again. And now I'm at the point with classifiers, I just really try not to ever look at the rulebook, and I just use the rules reference because it's all in the rules reference. So, but if you took some of the charts and the pictures from the rulebook and put it in the rules reference, I think you'd have a fantastic way to explain how that game is made. But I found it easier with the first edition rulebook. That makes sense. I was just joking, man. I was just it's a bad joke I make when I stumble over words. Otis was worried about my new mouth. I was just like, I just sometimes I forget how to use this mouth. It's like words come out a little jarbled. But yeah, that was not much tension in this one, right? We pretty much kind of walked right over Kollossum. Excited to get Barnacle, and then we'll pick up a longer Tyrant, so I can have Duster and Stanza together again at last. And Stanza's super fun, and we're curious. That will be a good test for me, just to kind of be aware of like how much Duster it requires a different kind of build when you got two players, because she's a little more limited, because again she keeps like, oh, no, we're gonna attack me, and then everyone's attacking Stanza, and Stanza's like Stanza's a little squishy, man. She can't take all that attack. Nope. You didn't miss here, Otis. Have a Tony Luke's for me. Sure, man. From Brian. Tony Luke's is a Philadelphia steak shop. Oh, I was wondering if it was plastic surgery. Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. I think that might be the most meaningless plastic surgery in the world, considering my beard. If I actually did anything with the lower half of my face, I think we're gonna be good with what we got. So that's about it. So look, thanks for everyone joining me. Yeah, Otis, I've heard you say that before. Yeah, I have my Greg's best hits. You guys can make a T-shirt with my top 10 sayings. Things Greg says too much. Nice. Yeah, cheesesteak. There you go. Here we go. That's impressive emoji usage from Brian. So we're good with that. But Sunday coming out, I'm gonna have a Gaia project. Stay tuned. End of the month, I got a pretty cool announcement that I'm excited to share with everybody as I continue to try to move this channel on to the next step of its growth. It's been super fun, and then we will see any questions, comments, epiphanies. Put them in the comment section below. My live playthrough next week, I don't even know. What am I doing? I think it's Spirit Island. I'm pretty sure. Don't if I put out like an announcement and something else, don't be surprised. But I'm pretty sure I got Spirit Island coming up. It seems like that's I'm due to get back to the land of Spirit Island and all the spirits there. George Egg again. Bye. Thanks, dude. So yeah, look out for that. If you want to see what is on the schedule for sure, you can go on my Patreon page. There's a link in the description below. You can kind of see what's coming up. I put that out for the next 4 weeks at the beginning of every month, or about a week before the beginning of every month, to kind of let people know what's coming down the pipe. Thanks for the live play, Brian. Thank you for joining me. You are very welcome. Cheesesteak. Heard you live in Philadelphia. I do live in Philadelphia. I don't have many cheesesteaks, but it's a thing. Most of the cheesesteaks in Philly I find to be not that great, but I'm sure someone's going to come after me with pitchforks for saying that. But it is what it is. I speak the truth. But that's about it. Yeah, just yammering. So nothing else to say. Again, go on my Patreon page while you're there. If you are interested in becoming a supporter of this channel, I could definitely use the support. There are 3 tiers of support that are there. I appreciate every bit of support I get. And if Patreon and being one of the financial supporters of the channel isn't for you right now, very cool. Likes, watch time, subscriptions, all of that really helps the channel as I continue to be found by more and more people, rounding up to 3,000 pretty soon. It's pretty cool, pretty hard to imagine considering where I was at like 4 months into this endeavor, sitting on like 30 subs, as I was figuring out a lot of things the hard way. But figure it out, I did, with the help of everyone who gave me tips and helped me along the way. And there's a lot of those people out there in comments and whatnot. So that's been really cool. So that's about it. Thanks again for joining me. Have a great night and happy gaming.